So today we are doing an amazing show. It's going to be called Turning 50 and Dating Over the Age of 50 as an LGBTQ male. So joining us, we have four amazing individuals who are going to come and we're going to have this great conversation and talking about what it means to date as a black gay male over the 50 and up. I've been a part of groups. I've been a part of discussions, even though I'm 29. I have a lot of friends who are older and they all talk about these things. And I was like, wow, I would love to have a discussion about this. So one thing before we start and get our audience up, if you're interested in asking a question to one of our guests today, you will find a link within our comments. And the link would allow you to come on. And our director, she will pull you on and you can ask one of our guests a couple of questions pertaining to this topic. So without further ado, let's bring them on and let's start this show. Our four amazing guests. Bring them on, Charisma. Hey everyone, how are you doing today?
Doing awesome.
Fine. Doing all right.
Awesome. So we have Luke Huff from Atlanta. We have Jacques Whitfield from California. We have Dwayne Vernon from the DMV. And we have Christian Fraser, who's also in Atlanta, Georgia. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Before we dive into this discussion, if you guys can just go ahead and say our ages so people would know what type of age range or who we're dealing with. Luke Huff, you can go first.
Okay. Hey, my name is Luke Huff. My age is 55.
55.
And I consider myself having 45 more winters. Yeah.
Jacques.
45 more winters, baby.
I'm Jacques Whitfield, and I am 58 years old.
Oh, amazing. What about you, Dwayne?
I'm 59, but I'll be 60 in 2 months.
And Christian?
I am 51, and I like to say that black don't crack unless you smoke it.
All right. So a lot of you guys dating in your early 20s, what was that, late 80s, 90s, early 2000s? What has been the key differences, I want to ask, between dating then and dating now in your 50s? Anybody can start. Christian,
I'll start.
Jacques, you can start.
Yeah. So in my 20s, I was still figuring out who I was for much of my 20s and, quite frankly, most of my 30s. I think at the young age of 50, in my 50s, I finally figured it out. And I felt comfortable in my skin. In my 20s, I wasn't out yet. I still was living as a closeted man. I was still, my late 20s, actually got engaged and married to my ex-wife. And so that was a whole different energy. Now I feel like I am fully, I love the skin that I'm in. I love my life journey. I know what I know and I know what I don't know. And so just having that maximum ownership and self-agency has really allowed me to enjoy the 50s and enjoy all aspects of the 50s, including dating and relationships.
Awesome. Christian, I saw you had this big
Yeah.
smile. What has been the difference between dating in your 20s to now dating at the age of 50s?
The biggest difference is I was dating women back then too. Like what he said, I was still kind of figuring myself out, and I was dating women. I was interested in men, but because of pressures of society and everything. Also, I was in the military. It was like, don't ask, don't tell. So, I was married to a woman for 22 years. So that's the difference between me dating in my 20s and me dating now. I am comfortable in the skin that I'm in.
Awesome. What about you, Dwayne, Luke?
Well, for me, I believe when I was in my 20s, I didn't really understand what a relationship was. you know, and then again, it's like you're finding yourself. No, I wasn't married. I wasn't interested in women, but I was still trying to become comfortable with myself.
Yeah.
And like Christian, I was in the military. But I think now that I'm older, I have a better concept of what a relationship should entail and what it pretty much should be about.
Gotcha. And
If
what
if
about?
I could add on to that just for a second,
Yeah.
because I went to couples counseling with a guy, and the couples counselor, the first thing that she said was like, I don't know the difference, like I've never counseled, a gay couple before, and I was like, the problems are pretty much the damn same as it is with a heterosexual couple. You're really dealing with the same issues. So having the experience being married really gives you just a lot of relationship experience itself.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Chris. And Luke?
In my 20s, I was I guess I was dating because I just joined the army at 21 or so, about 20. And so I still had a girlfriend back at home. And I joined the army, and I was stationed at Frankfurt, Germany. That's when I had my first experience in the lifestyle. And so yeah, I was in my 20s. I was trying to figure things out as well. Also in my 20s, AIDS came out. So AIDS came out in my 20s. Like 80. Well, AIDS probably came out 84. But by the time it became something to talk about, it was probably about 86. And yeah, that was a major thing going on at the time when I first came out, when I was first introduced to the lifestyle. Yeah. And also I was trying to figure myself out, You start off life as a young person, they're thinking, people are telling you hear you shouldn't be that way. And you might not know as many people that you would like to know that's living that lifestyle. So you just in there, baby. You just gotta figure it out, grace of God.
Awesome. So let's jump a couple of decades ahead from 20s to now 50s. And dating has changed. The way to date has changed. People are not walking up to others anymore and say, hey, how are you doing? Can I take you out? People are not communicating like they used to. Now they're using a thing called dating apps and applications. What has been you guys' experience in online dating in your 50s? And has it been easier because now men are more accessible and easily accessible? Or have you found it draining in a way? Luke, since you was the last person to talk, I'm going to let you go first.
What do I think about? First of all, the dating apps. I have this thing where I tell people it's kind of like a bag of M&Ms that never ends. I mean, who's gonna stop you from eating all these M&Ms? Ooh, a yellow one. Ooh, another yellow one. Ooh, a brown one. Ooh, a black one. Ooh, a green one. Ooh, a red one. Ooh, another red one. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So for me, it can turn into a waste of time, I believe, to be honest. I mean, you're like wasting a lot of time. Because if someone hits you up on there, now you got to go look at their profile. You got to read about it. Then now you can respond. So in the meantime, 10 more people have hit you up. Now you got to go look at their profile before you can respond. The next thing you know, hours and hours have gone by. And to be frank and to be quite honest, it doesn't seem to be worth it to me.
What about you, Chris?
No, I definitely think it's a waste of time. I think that the dating apps really mostly now are mostly used for sex, for hookups. Most of the people that are on dating apps typically are not looking for relationships. A lot of the people on dating apps are already married or in relationships already. That's like almost like half the population on dating apps. So they're looking for just sex. And then, if you narrow that down to the people who are able to communicate, it really just doesn't, the success rate is not high. You would have higher success in hanging out in groups where people are like-minded.
So do you find that you guys miss the old ways of doing things and of communications and dating? Like, Dwayne, I'll let you answer that. Do you miss the old ways of dating, or do you enjoy the new applications?
Well, when I was younger, I mean, I had a profile on one of the sites, but I've never met anybody on this site simply
Mm-hmm.
because I was just always been kind of leery. And I've just heard so many, stories about people popping up and they're not who they say they are, or people getting hurt. And so I never, when I met people, it was either at the club or out at a party. I did reach out to one guy on one of the websites way back in the day, and I understood why he asked me the question. It's like when you get that question, what are you looking to do or what do you get into? And I was just totally turned off by it, but I shouldn't have been because of the type of the website that it was. But I just realized that meeting people on the websites and apps just wasn't for me.
Gotcha. Jacques,
I met my ex though. I met somebody on a dating app, and we ended up being together for 7 years. So there are some
Oh yeah,
successes,
oh yeah, oh yeah.
and so there is, there are some, but me doing it again now, hell no.
Yeah, no.
And I like to add, I hold on to the old ways. You can't just, for me, I just feel like I can't just take on the new ways and not keep some of the old with it. You know what I'm saying? That's
so
new
Luke, you're walking up to guys with the confidence and like, hey, what's up? Like, how you doing?
Hey, if you got the chemistry, it's about that's the thing about meeting someone face to face. That'll never get old, right?
Right.
I think that's the best way to meet someone. Like, get some chemistry.
You can't get catfished.
No, you can't get catfished.
You can't read a person though. You can't really tell.
When I was younger, I might be with someone, and it might not be that serious, having fun. But I'm looking at the crowd and seeing interesting people that are interesting to me. And let's say if there's some chemistry between the two of us, because chemistry is what's important, right? Before you even speak to someone, you need some chemistry. What are you gonna cross the whole room? And you don't even have no. They weren't paying you. They've been in the same room with you for 10 minutes, and they had 20 minutes, and they haven't even looked at you. But you're gonna cross the room and go speak to them? No,
So,
you need some chemistry.
Nigel, for me, I actually agree with everything my colleagues said, and I think it's not for me. It's not a question of new versus old. There are new tools. However, the art of communication is 70,000 years old. And so, for me, I know what I want. I know how to connect with what I want. And I realize that the app is just a modality. It's just a tool. But the app is not communication in and of itself. So I still get to have, emotional intelligence, cultural intelligence. I still get to communicate for understanding, communicate for connection. And so my experience with the apps, I mean, like you, I've met people on like Adam for Adam back in the day that I've known for 25 years. And because I recognize that the app is just a tool, it is not communication. You still got to have, and all of our generation grew up, you had to have game if you wanted to learn how to talk to anybody. And so that's where I feel that, and quite frankly, we have the competitive edge over younger generations because it's so immediate. And it's like, I'm like, typing an emoji is not game. That's not, you ain't got no game if you're doing emojis and like doing sex pics and all that shit. You still have to have some game. So my personal experience, I've had lots more positive and rewarding experiences using apps because it's just a tool. I realize you still got to communicate. You still have to sift from the the wheat from the chaff, as they say.
Right.
So if you're operating with that high degree of emotional intelligence, and you realize, like with all social media, it's hype. It's just a visual image. And if you want to get to know the individual behind the image, it requires communication. So I agree with what everyone else is saying, but I don't think it's a case of either or. There are just a lot more tools. Do you still have the ability to connect with humans? That's what I think.
Yeah, but I noticed like some of the older guys, they kind of do the sup, don't have much to say. Hey, you know,
Really?
they're not really communicating either. So I have to
Yeah.
kind of be like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Do you think though it's due to them being kind of tired? Like, if I'm not gonna give energy until no, Christian said
No.
That have nothing to do with being tired.
Yeah.
It has the communications has fallen off a lot, especially after the pandemic. It's just known, widely known, and people have not since the pandemic, and people have been isolated. People have had a problem falling back into society.
Yeah.
And I've heard people saying, like, oh, I want to go out to the bar, but I don't even know what to do anymore. But people are finding the same thing online, like they've been so isolated,
Right.
and they don't know what to say, how to approach. So they don't have it, like what you said earlier. We had to do that because on Friday nights, Saturday nights, we had to go to the bar if we wanted to meet somebody. So we have those skills that never left. But a lot of people don't have those skills. And then you add on top of that, you have people who are introverted who never had those skills.
Yeah.
It just makes it really hard for them to reach out. And I know some people who have social anxiety just by saying hi to somebody.
Yeah.
But Christian, I do want to say this. I think it's also an opportunity because as a result of the pandemic, where we've been so isolated, because we've had to be, there's also that real hunger and desire for authentic connections. So when you do, it's kind of like a salmon swimming upstream. Sorry for all the mixed metaphors. But when you do find that other salmon that also desires and craves authentic communication and connection, it's like, wow.
But you know what I miss? Like back in the day, I maybe in the late 80s or early 90s.
I was waiting for somebody to use that quote. That term back.
Getting on the telephone and having a conversation with somebody for hours. And it's like now you can feel a person's energy and kind of get a vibe, but now everything has become text. And it's kind of hard to really figure out a person. I don't know. I just think communication has become so, I don't know, impersonal.
I agree.
Yeah.
But you know what? I agree with Mr. Jacques, right?
Jacques. Yeah.
Jacques. Yeah. I agree with I agree with him also in that you use that. Yeah. I'm sorry. Hey, you use that to you use the tools and still keep you.
Yeah.
While using the tools and teach.
Yeah,
I think that you can still use the tools because right now a lot of people during the pandemic have been forced to go online more than ever before. So you're going to find more people online now than you did pre-pandemic. So it's like a tool that you have to use. But again, like you said earlier, you have to just keep being you.
Yeah.
And I really like what Dwayne said in terms of talking on the phone, because energy is everything, and energy is communicated through your voice. You can tell inflections, where there's energy, as opposed to a text is just flat and you don't know what was the inflection around that. So, and again, for me, if there's someone I'm interested in, I would invite them into a personal phone call. If they decline or for whatever reason don't want to, then I know, okay, then you're not the energy where I want to spend, and let me just keep on moving.
So in turning 50, what type of men have you guys felt that you've been attracting lately? What type of energies, what type of ages, what type of people, what type of races have you been attracting that you've seen coming to you more than ever?
I think
32-year-olds.
I think for me.
Wait, hold on, Jacques. What did you say, Luke?
Like 32-year-olds.
32-year-olds?
33. I think, I have a daughter, and she turned 33 today. Happy birthday, Mercedes.
All right, she's an Aries. She's all right.
Yeah, she don't play. Yeah, she don't play. She sit back in the cut. But so I had her. So my first computer that I purchased was for her. I can't do the math right now, but I guess she was probably 13, 14, 12. And I didn't even have a computer. So I feel like, and I'm saying this because I feel like people in her age group, they had a computer. So they were able to look up and learn the knowledge on their computer. They learn how to use the technology before us. I mean, some people had office jobs, might have used computer all the time. I did not. And you know, I just feel like they're kind of like where we are in knowledge of something. Like we're
in knowledge, but
of
not
life.
maturity, though.
Yeah. But we can have a conversation, a real conversation. So I would say 32 is like an age where it's like, okay. And I'm able to, I mean, over the last month, I probably met 4 people. Over the last few months, I probably met 3 or 4 people, and they're in their 30s. 32.
Okay.
I think that people are attracted to men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and with gray hair. Gray is the new sexy right now, and
But
it
Chris, it's a
represents.
different type of gray because if we look back in how your parents or grandparents might have looked at 50 or 60, you're like, oh, but now like men are taking care of themselves. They're in the gym, they're eating right, they're taking care of their, you know, the skin creams, the moisturizers, and then
we're part of the hip hop.
Right. You're like,
Yeah.
huh.
So
Okay.
I mean, so it is. We're taking better care of ourselves. We're looking better, and some of us in our 50s and 60s are looking better than some of those in their 30s.
30s or
Amen.
20s.
But the thing is that you're attracting a lot of people in this age range, and there is a difference in emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
There is a difference in self-awareness. There is a difference in goals in life. And those things, if quite often they do not align when you have a difference of 20 years, you know, you're working hard trying to build something that I've already done.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to travel and have fun and relax where you're trying to work, you know, 18 hours a day. So if the goals and everything do not align, and the self awareness that does not align, the self, you know, the emotional intelligence does not align, then you're going to have a lot of problems, because it's going to be like you're mentoring somebody. And, you know, like me, I have grandkids. I don't want to raise a man. I want somebody that has that built in already.
Gotcha. Dwayne, what about you? What type of men have you been attracting?
Well, you know, with me is, well, I guess I'm not your typical 60-year-old guy. And so I dated this one guy. There was an age difference. And the problem that I find is if we're in the car, I don't want to hear a bunch of loud music. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it just doesn't match with me, because I'm more calm now. Now, you know, when I was 20, oh yeah, house music playing and jamming on your way to the club. And now, you know, I'm past that. But then I find guys that are most guys that are my age, then they look much older than me, and sometimes it makes me feel older. And it's like I went to my class reunion, and I felt like I was like, who are these people? All these people, they look so old, you know, and they graduated with me, and I just, you know, so it, you know, but I find myself, I'm being hit on by younger people, but I mean, I hate to be blunt, but when it comes to younger generation, really the only thing that you can do really is sex. I mean, because after that, you don't have anything else in common. And so I don't look at it as me trying to have a relationship with that person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just kind of prefer someone closer to
your age.
To my age, yeah.
Now, Jacques, I've had you on before.
You had me on before.
We had the discussion of when you, I think, were you in your 40s and you married?
When I was in my late 40s when I married my now ex-husband, still one of my dear friends, and I love him to this day. And he was in his 20s. And so, and again, yes, it is my lived experience. Are he and I close to this very day? Yes. Am I glad that I married him? Absolutely. That was what my life journey called me to be, and I am here because of the decisions that I made back there. And Yeah, I mean, and I get it, and I also get it. And so, but for me, who do I attract? I attract all across the board, from younger to older to in between. And it's kind of like, living that Goldilocks and the Three Bears. This one's
Right.
too hard, too soft, just right. Because I agree with Dwayne and Christian, and actually, and Luke, all of you, because we're not and I don't know if I'm not going to say we're not your typical 50 guys in their 50s. I think we do represent guys in their 50s today in America. However, I'm not like my grandparents were when they were in their 50s. And so we're active. I'm not planning on slowing down anytime soon. I travel for my work. I'm also a commercial model and a voiceover actor. So that puts me in different situations and different settings. I meet different people. And again, I think what attracts me the most is intellectual capacity. And I know that intellectual capacity doesn't have an age, because I've met guys in their 50s and 60s that seem like they were in their 20s. Yes. And then I've met guys in their 20s and 30s that seem like they have the depth and capacity. And it just so happens that my ex-husband had that depth and that intellectual capacity. And that's why we're friends to this very day. That's why, yeah, exactly. So I think it's not a one set formula. However, I will say, when you get in your 50s, you definitely know what you want, and you definitely know what you don't want. And you're not ashamed to say that. We get to voice what we want. And so in the 20s, where you're kind of just getting along and trying to figure it out, in this space, we know damn well what we want. And so we're not going to put up with, and use my grandfather's terms, foolishness, or anything that doesn't align, like Christian says, doesn't align to who we are and doesn't align to our ways of being. And so from that space,
we don't have all that time to waste.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, no, but Luke raised a really important point, because I'm very present to my mortality. Now, like Luke, I plan on living till I'm 100 plus, because we got long lifelines in my family. However, I am not wasting any more time. And that's very, very clear. Not wasting any time. Yeah.
Now, going back to what you said, Dwayne, and dating people who are around your age and making you feel like you're old. Now, one thing that I've noticed, a lot of men, especially in our community, they don't date other men around their age. Why do you think that is? I think Dwayne said it makes him feel like kind of old, especially if they don't take care of themselves. What about you guys? Why wouldn't you want, or do you date people who are really, really close, like in their 50s or late 40s or in their 60s?
I would, but the problem is that a lot of people in my age range don't have the same energy and the same vigor that I do. So, they just want to sit home and watch TV, watch soap operas or something like that, and I like to get out, go do things. I like to go to the museum. I like to be active. So our lifestyles can be very different, is what I find. So I find that, somebody who's younger typically will have the energy and the vigor, that matches up with mine.
I do think that when you're dating someone like me, I love intimacy to me, intimacy is more important than sex. Sex is a bonus. But, whether it be we're snuggling up watching TV for the day, or whether we're going out to the movie, that constant intimacy, and, and the sex it's a bonus. But I think when you start dating someone younger, they look for to proving their manhood, or the I don't know whether you want to call it rough, but just the pounding sex or whatever. Whereas when you get our ages, it's more the intimacy. I think for me, is more important, and is what I look for in a partner.
So when I grow up, I want to be Dwayne, but right now I am.
I like a combination of the two.
I like sex.
I like the combination of the two.
Not the combination of
but I know what I need. I know what motivates me, and my love language is touch. and I enjoy sex.
Oh, I
I
enjoyed it.
All right.
yeah,
You know,
sex.
When he said,
I think
"Oh,
sex is
I enjoyed it,
yeah,
but
but
you know,
sex is probably more important.
I'm with you.
And
I'm with you,
it's funny.
Dwayne. It has to have, typically today, when you get into your 50s, though, you want to have more of a mental connection. You want to have that intimacy, and
Which makes the
again,
sex even
it
better.
makes the sex even better.
Yeah,
Exactly,
absolutely.
when you're
Yeah.
connected.
Yeah. So it's so funny because my ex-wife and I were talking about this, and we both are like, no, we like really good sex. Yes, intimacy. Yes, connection. But you know what? I need to look like I need to feel like I've gone through a workout at the end of my.
I want you to look like it's an SVU crime scene afterwards.
Yeah, and again, in my 50s, I'm not ashamed to say that. I
mhm.
know what I want. If I want a little splash of kink, if we need to do, take it there, then I get to say that, and I don't get to feel sheepish or apologetic. No, you get to say exactly what you want.
That's
But
true.
no, but what I'm saying is that doesn't exist. But that, to me, should be the, well, with me, is the major part, and the all the other stuff is good. Don't get me wrong, but and then as you get older, there's wear and tear on your body. But
Or
to
is it?
me, it's there's just something about holding someone's hand that you really love, and you're sitting on the deck drinking coffee or whatever, just chatting, and it's just something about that. And then when you go upstairs and make love, it's passionate and it's good, whether you get caught up in the moment, and it could be that like wham 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 or whatever, but but to me it's just the majority of intimacy.
Can I ask? So, one of the biggest things that women and gay men do, especially if one is bottoming or if a woman is, feeling it and decide it's kinky, is call their partner daddy. So, how does it make you guys feel, especially if you're having sex or dating a man that is younger? Is that a turnoff for you? Especially, you could be his father's age and they're calling you daddy as you're hitting it.
I love it,
Yeah,
honestly.
it's cool.
No problem there. Yeah. And it's even hotter when I get to call somebody daddy. Every daddy needs a daddy, right? So to me, it works.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Pretty much.
Oh gosh. Okay. What about you?
Did somebody type it in the comments? No.
Yes. Somebody said, I think intimacy is lacking in many relationships. Caress and touch your partner without sex is the next step. And I totally agree.
I mean, good sex.
Another question.
Good sex without
Go ahead.
Good sex without good character. It's like a waste of time almost. Like if it's just about the sex and then the person's character isn't right, then it's kind of like, that's horrible. Now you kind of stuck in this sexual zone with having a good time with sex, and you're with someone who doesn't fit you.
You might as well just meet somebody online if that's what you're looking for,
Right.
Yeah.
Have you guys found yourself teaching a lot of your partners, like letting them go? Because I've had the sex that I've had with older men, I've honestly have said, oh, this is different. And I've been like, oh, okay. And he has taught me some things that I didn't even know that I liked about myself. So have you guys found, like, for yourselves that you have taught some of the partners that you've been with?
Every time.
As older men, as the older generation, we've learned when we were younger to explore a man's body, whether finding out whether he's turned on by nibbling on his knees or behind his neck, or we explored. We knew what turned that person on to the point where they were just like, So I think from what we've learned in our younger days, it still, turns these younger men, turn these younger men out. Yeah.
And look, and that's why. So seriously, that's why. you like you can't when you're older, you really just can't be having sex with everybody because they're gonna get turned out
Yep.
and they're gonna be following you around, like a puppy dog in the daytime with a flashlight. So you just don't really want to go through all of that. So you have to be very careful.
Yeah.
You can't put it all the way down. Know what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, and some people just go one, it's just like this is I only go one way. That's it. So if you are like that, you just refrain from just spreading your energy wherever.
So if I were to answer that question, being a lifelong learner, a teacher, I think because of the partners I have chosen, I am always discovering a new level of elevation, which is a nice way of saying that I think I learned something with every relationship, with every encounter. And that is also true from the sexual aspect. I've been in, yeah, honestly, I've been, yeah. I guess I know how to pick them, like that one.
What have been you guys' experiences when bringing a younger partner home to meet the family, especially when you have children and they're close in age? What has been you guys' experiences? And you're like, yeah, this is my man. And everybody looks like, huh, okay.
I don't do that anymore. I haven't done that in a long time.
So Mercedes hasn't met. When was the last time Mercedes met somebody of yours?
When was the last time Mercedes met someone? Probably 8 years ago. Like a new person.
Damn, Luke.
Yeah.
Gotta be special.
Yeah, it gotta be real special. Like, what? You ain't coming up in here meeting family and bloodline? No. I'm still not sure about you. Myself.
Look, my family will talk about you too.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing in different people, so no.
Yeah, my family tends to get along with whomever I'm, dating seriously. They kind of they get along with them. They just automatically get along with them, like, and it makes sense. It makes sense to me.
Jacques, so, what was that conversation for you when you married your younger partner, and what was that like with your kids?
With my kids, with my ex-wife, with everybody, it was and with his family, because his parents we were in the same generation, right? And living where we live.
Were they older or younger than you?
Let's just say that they were around my age, slightly older, but still in the same generation as baby boomers, right? And again, because we're all part of the whole Black bourgeoisie thing, right? So I knew them. I didn't know that was their son. God, no, I didn't know that was there. So it was with the kids, it was different and interesting because people thought when they met my partner, they're like, oh, this is Ashley's boyfriend. I'm like, no, this is my man. And you could tell if people are throwing shade or if they're really genuine. When they're really genuine, you explain it to them. When they're throwing shade. But I've been in that situation. My kids have been in that, and we've talked about it. And so now my kid, if I'm really serious about an individual, I explain to them, well, you've got to meet my kids because they got to put the good housekeeping seal of approval before we can, truly be serious. So the last time that happened was probably before the pandemic. And technically the person was younger than me, but still a grown-up, right? In his 30s, whatever. And they liked him. I mean, they're still social media friends with him to this day. But I do agree with my colleagues that you can't just bring anybody around your kids. That is a special, like Luke said, that's really, really special. And if I were to be serious with someone again, that absolutely would be the next step because I'm a father. And so I got kids. It's not like I'm a single guy out here, so yeah. Or like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Have you guys ever faced age discrimination within the LGBTQ community?
I
You
think
think
we face
age?
all kind of discrimination within the LGBT. Are you kidding me? The LGBT community is one of the most insensitive, inflexible, intolerant communities in my experience.
Yes.
And there are some wonderful things about the community, but we got a lot of work that we need to do.
Yeah.
A lot,
Absolutely. So, yeah, a lot.
a lot of
And
work.
that's colorism, racism,
Mm.
body positivity,
Mhm.
HIV. I'm HIV positive. I've been HIV positive since June of 2006. So, living with the virus this long. And again, like Luke said, when I was coming of age, that was during the AIDS epidemic. So different way of being now. And so, yeah, we got a lot of issues that we need to work on.
Awesome. Have you guys experienced or had examples of your age being a problem when it came to dating somebody or been discriminated for your age?
Yes.
Who said that?
I mean, you get on apps where people just like, I don't want to date anybody over 40 or over 30,
Yeah.
you have that, and it's just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a real, and I think just in terms of the Black LGBT, the Black same gender loving community, I think we have lots of room to grow to really, number one, accept ourselves individually, and then accept all of our brothers, all of the people who are also same gender loving, and recognize that you are not what you wear, you are not how much you lift at the gym, you are not your six pack or the size of your anatomy, whatever that is, that you are a holistic individual worthy of connection and all the things,
Mhm.
and not objectified. I think it's interesting when, you expect other communities to objectify us, but when we ourselves are objectified within our own community, that's that's eye opening and off putting.
We have a lot of issues like with, like you said, like loving ourselves.
Yeah.
You have a lot of us who we won't even date within our own race because we have a lot of self-hate. Or we think that other races are better.
Right.
We think that other races provide a different, social, economic, empowerment, for all of these different reasons why we won't, date each other, we won't love each other. And then we have so many of us who have never experienced love at home, either coming from broken homes where they've never seen love, and then they have never been in a successful relationship. So you have so many of us who actually don't know how to love.
Yeah.
And then when a real loving opportunity is presented, it feels like a setup because people
Mm.
have actually had so many, types of relationship trauma. And that is something that we really have to get over. And a lot of us are not going to seek therapy after we have this relationship trauma. We're not dealing with our childhood trauma. So then we get into these relationships and then we just break them up and then we repeat the cycle and do it over and over again.
Amen. Amen. And so here's what I find. I find just what Christian said, that when you get to your 50s, that you can put humans into two categories, right? There are these guys like Christian saying, you recognize your trauma, you're working on it, you're, whether it's therapy, life coach, something, you're on some wellness, some transformational journey. And then the other group, they've doubled down on the trauma. They're armored up. They're not open to change. And so therefore, like Christian was saying, they just go and, create other harm, connecting with other individuals that they really should not do that. And even as I look at my own transformation, that I should have, if I were replaying the tape, I should have had a timeout to say, hey, you know what? And that happened to me back in October of 2017 when I ended my last relationship. And I'm like, I'm putting myself on timeout because I got to work on me, because I realized that there's a whole lot of shit in here that
Yeah.
gets to get worked on in a deeper way. I took the entire year of 2018 off and really just did the work on me. And I think that folks need to do that. I'm very grateful that I had the ability to do that. It has yielded a lot. But Christian's absolutely right that so many of us carry trauma that is unhealed, that we haven't allowed the light of day to come into. And let's not even talk about brothers who are on the down low, or who are closeted and not out. I don't like the term down low because it has other significance. But that is trauma. That's not cute.
Yeah.
That's not sexy. I don't care what book you may have read that said this is hot. It's not. Having been in those relationships, it is traumatizing even being in the relationship.
Yeah.
Because if you're out and your partner isn't, then that is a re-traumatizing for both of you. It's not, because for the partner who is closeted, being with someone who's out is constantly traumatizing, because they're wondering, when is the other shoe going to drop? And for that guy that's out, you're having to relive what it was like to be in the closet. So yeah, I totally agree.
Oh, wow. Okay, guys, we're going to go to a quick commercial, but when we come back, we're going to have more of this amazing discussion. But also, if you would like to come on and ask these amazing fellas a question, you will find that link in the comment section. Just click it, and our director will bring you on to ask them a question. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's time to step up, prep up.
Step up, prep up.
To help keep you free from the risk of HIV.
From the makers of Truvada, there's another PrEP option, Descovy for PrEP, a once-daily prescription medicine that helps lower the chances of getting HIV through sex. It's not for everyone. Descovy for PrEP has not been studied in people assigned female at birth. Talk to your doctor to find out if it's right for you.
Step up for health and body.
Prep up for your one and only love, or many loves. For kings, this queen, and you royals in between. For my now.
Our now.
And my future.
Our future.
Step up, prep up.
Descovy is another way to prep. Descovy does not prevent other sexually transmitted infections, so it's important to use safer sex practices and get tested regularly. You must be HIV negative to take Descovy for PrEP, so you need to get tested for HIV immediately before and at least every 3 months while taking it. If you think you were exposed to HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. They may check to confirm you are still HIV negative. Serious side effects can occur, including kidney problems and kidney failure. Rare life-threatening side effects include a buildup of lactic acid and liver problems. The most common side effect was diarrhea. Tell your doctor about all the medicines and supplements you take, or if you have kidney or liver problems, including hepatitis. If you have hepatitis B, do not stop taking Descovy without talking to your doctor. Ask your doctor about your risk of HIV, and if Descovy for PrEP is right for you.
Words are loud, but actions are louder.
Step up,
Prep up.
With Descovy for PrEP.
Get help paying for Descovy for PrEP. Learn more at stepupprepup.com.
Rockstyle disaster coming at you.
Hey guys, welcome back to Outspoken. I just wanted to just reiterate that we are speaking to 4 amazing gentlemen about what it is dating as gay Black men over the age of 50. We're going to bring our guests back on. But again, if you would like to ask them a question, just click the link in the comment section and we will bring you in. So I just wanted to ask, so I was reading this article and I wanted to ask you guys if it's true or not. So after 40 and certainly by 50, do you find it harder to get an erection at your age?
Nope.
I'll go first. Well, no, because of my wellness practice. There's a really good brother I know that we're all connected to, Harold LaFall. He's in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he has some amazing, he's got a book, a juicing book. He's also got a number of like holistic supplements and vitamins. I think if you take care of yourself, because sex is all about physicality and it begins in the brain. And so if your body is functioning as it should function, if you're putting the right nutrients and, hydrating, getting rest, all the things, then I think that you can perform sexually like you perform any other physical activity. But I think conversely, if you don't, then over time, yes, you will experience ED and, all those associated things.
I agree with that 100%. Like I'm a diabetic. I've been a diabetic for 20 years. I used to be 70 pounds heavier. I was almost 300 pounds and a 44 waist.
What?
And I lost 70 pounds. And I eat right, take care of myself. And one of the first things that typically is a side effect of diabetes is erectile dysfunction. So you have diabetes and high blood pressure, which is affecting a lot of African-American men. The medicine itself causes high blood pressure medicine itself causes erectile dysfunction. So eating right, getting your body in order, and also, exercising, meditating, and all of that is going to help you be able to maintain an erection, and also maintaining your mental health is another thing. Mental health is one of the highest contributors to erectile dysfunction.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What about you, Luke?
What was the question?
The question was,
I was,
as
I'm at
you're
home.
He was playing with it.
as you're 50,
No.
do you find that it's harder to get an erection?
At one time, I thought that, but then I feel like you gotta find someone you gotta find that passion with someone. You're not gonna be able to be with this person, that person, that person. Not like that, but like I can't be with this person because we're not really mentally compatible. We're not, it doesn't turn me on. But I mean, when I was younger, you would get hard. You would get an erection from just physically attracted to someone. Yeah. Just their appearance would get you erect. But at this age, I think I need more. I want more. It's in me. I know that I deserve more, and I know what I'm looking for. And so once I became more targeted on that, I ain't have that problem anymore. I don't know.
But Nigel, I'm
that
glad
I thought I had. It may not have been a problem at all. I just wasn't connecting
with the person.
All the people that I was wanting to be connected to. This person is beautiful. Like, why can't I get it up for this person here? But it's just because of the connection. You got to have a connection. Once that connection is there, like I was saying, using your someone on the same intellect with you, the same, then the set's going to be better. It's going to be great. And you'll be in the moment. You'll be able to enjoy the moment. Once I started doing that, it got better.
I'm glad you asked the question, though, Nigel, because it's very relevant. And, the more you really delve into sex education for folks our age, you find that even if you don't get an erection and you are attracted to someone, that is not a sign of, ED necessarily. It may be that you require a different stimulus. Some people are motivated by touch. Some people, like on site, can go there. Some people need the emotion, the energy, the mental space. And so, but I think it's important that we as older men have these candid conversations to let folks know, hey, look, you're not weird. This is not odd. Don't run out and get some Viagra right now. There may be something in your wellness.
Just get better at picking them.
It's actually about your own self-awareness.
Exactly.
Finding out exactly who you are and what turns you on.
Yeah.
And once you learn what that is, then you roll with it.
Absolutely.
If the energy isn't there for me, then, we're going to have a problem. Houston, there's a problem. But if it's somebody that I'm really feeling and we have that energy and that connection, I don't run into that issue.
I have kicked somebody out at 4:00 in the morning because the energy was not there. I was like, nope, you got to go. I don't care. Nope, nothing. It's not going down. Get the hell out.
You're not going to blame me for it. Let me just get you out of here right now.
I mean, you didn't notice I started washing dishes and sweeping the floor?
Oh, Jesus. Did you ever expect that you would be single at the age that you are now?
No.
Was that a hard reality for you as you hit that age?
Well, the older you get, it's harder for someone to break, break that wall or whatever, or for a person to get to know you. But the one thing that person will actually end up learning if they break through that wall, that it was worth it.
Come on now.
Yeah. You said a whole mouthful there.
Good.
Somebody passed the collection plate.
Amen. Amen. I got some. What you got? I got 20. I'm gonna put in there.
Have you guys ever had a fear? At 29, I have this fear, and it's crazy. Have you ever had the fear of dying alone. I think that's one of my biggest things, because I see a lot of relationships. Oh, they were together and then they're not. They were together and they're not. And then when I go to the clubs, especially in Atlanta, and see a lot of guys who are single in their 50s, 60s, some walking there with canes. And I think it's like, oh God, like, I hope that's not my reality. Like that's just one of my fears. So do you ever have a fear of dying alone now that you're still single in your 50s?
Nah,
But see, the thing about being in your 50s and single doesn't mean that you're alone. And that's why I don't feel I don't have any fear of that whatsoever, because I'm not alone. I'm still going to be happy. And see, you have to be able to find out who your tribe is, who your circle is, and whether it's a collection of family, friends, and everything like that. Because the truth of the matter is, even when you get somebody, you're never going to find somebody that's going to meet 100% of your needs.
Yeah.
Psychology today says if you can get 70 to 80%, you're doing damn good.
Yeah.
So you're still going to have other emotional needs that you need to get from somebody else, friends, family, or whoever it may be. So, that shouldn't be a fear that we have. I used to look at the same thing when I was young, going to the club, saying, man, when I get that age, I don't want to be like that, but truth of the matter is I'm happy, at this age being single. And if you can't be happy being single, you're not going to be happy in a relationship.
Amen.
And who's to say that you being in a relationship with somebody, you still could die alone, because you could be in a relationship that you just settled in simply because you don't want to die alone. But it's like me, I thought about it, but I have a group of friends that I love to death. And it's like, so I don't fear that dying alone because of the bond that I have with my closest friends. So we really shouldn't base living alone on a relationship, because again, you can be in a relationship and still be alone.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I believe, and quite frankly, everybody dies alone, right? I mean, unless you die in a group. So, and the other thing, so what Christian said and what Dwayne said really presents me, once that in terms of having someone else meet your needs. When I got that, it's like, wow, I am responsible for my own happiness. That completely, I saw the world differently. I saw relationships differently, because I came into relationships, if I'm totally candid, needy and needing something, even though I put pretty words around it, but it was something that I desired to have because I felt I would be complete in that. When I realized that I'm complete in my individually, and it takes two complete people to make a complete relationship. To have people make a mess, not a whole relationship. But once I really got that, like what Kristen was saying, the pressure was off everyone else, because if you come into my life, it's still my responsibility to make me happy. You don't have to do anything you are not responsible for my happiness. Now you can create discomfort, and if you do that, you will be invited to leave, but I am responsible for my own happiness and my own well-being.
Well, I'm kind of a creative, so it's kind of like to really be creative, most of the time you have to be alone.
Yeah.
So I've learned to enjoy being alone, and it just fits me. And sometimes, quite frankly, I feel sorry for people who don't have something going on for themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, like Mr. Whitfield said, you're gonna get buried, you're gonna die alone. When they dig the hole, you're the only one going in there. So I've learned to enjoy being alone, and because I'm a creative, and I need to be alone sometimes to be creative, to make things. Yeah. So, but
you need somebody who understands that too, and that's very important.
Recently, I met someone that's it might be. I ain't gonna but
ain't gonna jinx it.
It's going pretty good, I'm happy. I feel a little bit of, a little different happiness inside,
Oh, like he might meet Mercedes soon. No.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Okay. So
I
my last.
understand the feeling. I understand the feeling, my brother. That's a
But you can't
great
talk about it too
feeling.
much because you know
Nah.
next time
You,
we on
you,
here, I'll be like,
So my last
I
question.
told somebody the most successful relationships are the ones that are kept quiet, the ones that you don't really see a lot
Yeah,
online.
on post. Yeah.
Because when you
I
do,
totally agree.
when you broadcast that relationship all online, you're inviting a lot of trouble because everybody
definitely
that's
learned that
saying
one.
y'all look so cute together, they really saying, "Ooh, I wish I was one of y'all,"
Let me
or
get
"I
in
wish I
there.
was
Which
in
one of y'all
between
gonna
y'all."
get?
And they're gonna do what they can to do that too.
Not in between.
I totally agree. I totally agree. And I didn't used to feel that way. I used to feel, and in fact, I used to bug my partner and ex why we weren't on social media more. But now in this space, Christian, I agree with you
Yeah.
150%. Keep
Yeah.
that shit under wraps. Don't nobody need to know. Don't nobody need to know.
Yeah.
Don't
Don't
nobody
nobody
need
need
to
to know.
know.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. My last question for you. What dating advice do you have for men in your 50s? One thing that you can just take away from the entire conversation that we had. What would you want people who are viewing this in your age range and is out there dating? What would you want them to lead with from you? Chris, I'll let you go first.
I would say you want to work on your self awareness.
Mm,
You want to find out what you want. I find that a lot of men, even in their 50s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, really don't know what they want from a relationship or another individual. So find out what it is that you like, what you don't like, and then focus on that instead of being all over the place.
mm. Awesome. Dwayne, what about you?
I would say don't let your age allow you to settle into something you're not ready for. Make sure that
Mm,
you are ready. Make sure that you're able to be vulnerable with someone, and just take your time. Don't rush into it, and just let it go the route that it's going to go.
awesome. Jacques.
I'd say pretty much in line with Christian and Dwayne. Before you fall in love with someone, or before you want to fall in love with someone, fall in love with yourself.
Yeah.
See the beauty of who you are. Just have a love affair with yourself and let it be meaningful and impactful and life changing. And then you're ready to invite someone else into your space.
Agreed.
Last but least, but not least.
Well, I got a little saying I came up with not too long ago. It says, 50, when someone says, "Oh, I turned 50," I'm like, "Oh, welcome to the age of certainty, where
Yeah.
you're certainly not young, you're certainly getting older, and if there's something you desire to do, you certainly better do it."
Yes.
So, and that kind of sums it up. Like, you should be doing what makes you happy at this point. You know, if it makes you happy, do more of it. And maybe while you're doing that, you'll meet someone while you're doing something that makes you happy.
Awesome.
That's
Guys,
all right. That's all right. That's all right. I love it.
I ain't put that much thought into it. You know, I just said it, you know.
Luke,
Well
are
said.
you an Aquarius, Luke?
I'm close to Aquarius, but I'm a Capricorn.
Oh, okay. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. Before we go, I want to know what's going on. If you guys want to market something, if you guys want people to look out for something, Dwayne, I'm going to start with you because I know for sure you got some books that are out there, especially LGBTQ based. Tell people about what you're doing and what's up for Dwayne in the future.
I'm working on other novels, but my main thing is I want to see more Black LGBT films out there. So I've been working on writing. Actually, I finished writing like 3 films, and I like writing stories that break the stereotypes about Black men. So about gay Black men. So hopefully you'll see something, in a series or in the theater. But those are my goals. I'm getting ready to retire, so I'll have more time to work on those things.
Awesome. What about you, Christian?
I'm the creative marketing director for Steve Pemberton. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's been on Steve Harvey, Tamron Hall, and he has a book, A Chance from the World, that he was in the foster care system, graduated, went to work for a Fortune 500 company. One of the most successful and top executives and motivational speakers in the world. So if you see, follow him on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and be on the lookout. We have the new book was just launched in October, The Lighthouse Effect, and it basically talks about how you don't have to be, special, extra. Everybody, ordinary people can have an extraordinary impact on the world, and that's what the book is about.
Awesome. And guys, Chris is also a relationship coach. So if you need his services,
He
reach
sound
out
like
to
one.
him and he will help you out. Jacques, what about you, man?
So I'm also working on a book with some academic colleagues. We're actually about to publish our first textbook for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the target audience is colleges and universities. I'm very excited about it. It's a collaboration that I'm working with 4 other colleagues. And it is set to go to press sometime in May. So I will reach out to you, Nigel, once it's published. It's a work that we've been working on for quite some time, and especially in today's atmosphere and climate of social change and justice, and really us seeing who we really are as Black, Indigenous, and people of color. I am very excited about this work. So thank you for allowing me to share.
Awesome.
Sounds great.
And Big Loop.
Yeah. Big Luke. Yeah. And that's one of my names. So I'm supposed to be, I'm going to be in the, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I'm gonna be in the Swerve magazine. I'm supposed to be doing like a Ask Big Luke type of thing. But before I do that, and for the June issue, I'm gonna do something where I just talk about myself and, as far, describe the kind of person I am and who I am as a person. And so y'all look out for that. That'll be in June. And I'm writing a book too. In my mind, I am. But and what else? Oh yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll
like,
be able to read it on paper.
Yes.
And Dwayne, we need to talk.
I got to make the money from it, so I got to get it out of here and put it on something. But also, I'm gonna be having a art gallery party, lounge parties. It'll probably be in like May, so y'all look out for that. Just check me out, on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll be selling some of my creative things that I make. So yeah, so look out for that also.
Okay, and also Luke is a barber in Atlanta. He has cut my hair. He has cut friends of mine. Really good.
I just moved back, so I need a new barber.
Okay, hit me up.
I guess I'll be looking for my commission.
Hey, what's funny is that we're all in the creative industries, because I didn't even mention that, but I've been an actor for like 20 years, and it sounds like we all need to be working together.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm producing some stuff right now for Netflix. So we need
nice.
Congratulations, Chris.
So we need to all hang out and talk a little bit more.
Our stories aren't told. Our stories are not being told. I don't see myself. And I know we got LGBTQ things out there, but I still don't see myself.
Yeah,
well, that is a big thing.
You haven't read a Dwayne Vernon novel.
Oh,
yeah, Dwayne. When you said that, it started like, because I feel the same way. We don't have enough representation. It's all very stereotypes out there, but that's because that's what Hollywood wants. They only want stereotypes, and we need to really tell the real stories about how we live and who we are, and not what they think that we are.
Yeah. I think some of our stories would scare them.
Yeah.
Maybe they need to be scared.
Maybe they need to be scared. Scared back into reality.
Exactly.
Oh gosh, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Again, if you want to follow these individuals, you are more than welcome. They have Instagram, they have Facebook. Also, if you like everything what they said, except for Luke, he's talking to somebody, so Luke's off limits. So everybody else, you can slide on into their DMs. We have somebody in
You
the
hear that?
DV into not Chris, so we're leaving Chris out too.
Don't slide in my DMs. I'm not
Too
gonna
much work.
answer.
He said too much work.
Ain't nobody got time.
Well, if
for
you
all that.
see them, have the confidence enough to walk up to them and say hello, and
Wait
be
about 2
bold
weeks.
with it.
Well,
Wait about
Christian,
2 weeks before you say
how am
something.
I going to get in contact with you if we can't slide into your DM?
Look,
Oh,
wait about 2
well.
weeks.
See, we got your emails, all right. So
Okay,
we got another way to communicate.
I got you.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. Also, thank you to the
I had
viewers
fun.
for joining us and bringing your funny and interesting and influential comments. Thank you, everyone, for just really listening out to what these brothers have to say and just using their knowledge and wealth of information to just also make your life a little bit easier and also to know that you're not alone in going through this situation. Make sure you join us next week for our next show. I'll keep you posted.
Thank you, Nigel.
No problem, Luke. Just make sure, guys, you catch all our Outspoken shows. Also, we're doing some Instagram lives. Don't forget to catch our God Loves All series that we do every Sunday. We'll have that coming up. And again, just thank you to everyone for joining us and stay outspoken.